People who stutter oftentimes say that I don't quite understand how it's happening. Like I'm well prepared, I'm getting on stage, and all of a sudden I stutter. Or I pick up the phone, I know what to say, but the words are not getting out. And yes, stuttering might seem quite mysterious, but it's not just happening. It's not a linear thing. It is a cycle, and it has very clear logic. So if you're a speech therapist, if you're a parent of a child who stutters, and obviously if you're a person who stutters, it's great to understand how it works and what's the opposite of stuttering, which is not quite what you might think of. It's not quite fluency. What? What is it? Let's find out. And first of all, I want to note that we're talking about developmental stuttering as opposed to neurogenic stuttering caused by a stroke or brain injury. Let's take a look how it develops. What are the key elements of this development and of stuttering itself? So at the very center we can see neurological ground. And this is the starting point. I would call it, to put it simply, a mismatch. A lack of coordination when it comes to speech production. Neurological ground causes insecurity in the speaking structure, which I put in the yellow box because it's not quite visible. Like a lot of people wouldn't quite agree, wouldn't quite accept, wouldn't quite acknowledge that it exists. But then insecurity causes speech impediments. Speech impediments are more visible. Speech impediments cause the next yellow box, which is the feeling of helplessness. Like disempowerment, it's not happening the way I want. And I would call it a panic reaction, very automated reaction. It's like touching a hot pan. It doesn't feel great. Again, this is in the yellow box because it's not quite visible oftentimes. What is visible? It's the next stop, which is stuttering, anxiety, and tension. And here I want to talk about the main thing in this video. It's what I call refusal. In the nutshell, some part of your brain and your emotional system simply refuse to cooperate. They simply say, I'm not gonna play this game. I know I'm gonna lose. That refusal or withdrawal causes real speech impediments. It's when you want to say it and there's a block. It's not happening. And I like the analogy with a stubborn kid in this case. The more you press, the more you want to say it fluently, the more resistance you get in response. Like you go speak, do it. No way. I'm not gonna do it. So the opposite of this refusal, this withdrawal, escaping is presence. When you feel that you belong here. There's no danger. There's nothing to escape from. Again, I'm talking not about you as a conscious mind. I'm talking about the automated response your brain, your emotional system produce. And yeah, you might be wondering, okay, then how can we affect this automated response? If it's all automated, then probably there's nothing we can do about it. Well, we can do a lot. Actually, I'm a big fan of creating a new automated response. And let's talk about how we can do it. And first of all, let's talk about the stuttering techniques or the training speech, as I call it. That's the traditional speech therapy. So we're trying to do what? That's the biggest question for you as a speech therapist, for you as a parent, for you as a person who stutters, who is exploring different ways how to improve. If it's still more like escaping stuttering better, again, even though we can call it control stuttering, if we are trying to escape stuttering, this is still stuttering. We can improve fluency, and people who stutter oftentimes say, oh, I got fluent for several weeks, but then gradually it came back. It doesn't work anymore. It's not that it doesn't work, but you want to look at using all the techniques from a new angle. If it's still escaping stuttering better, you are going to come back to square one and start over from the same spot. So from the practical point of view, the opposite of escaping in very technical, again, sense, is creating speaking experiences where you don't have to speak. You don't need to speak. It's not that, I need to say something right now. The technique. Where are you? Please help me. Escape stuttering. Control stuttering better. So we're not escaping, we're not controlling, we're not responding in this case. When you create a speaking experience where you don't have to speak, you don't need to speak, it's your choice. All of a sudden, it is, in and of itself, the opposite of escaping, stuttering, and speaking, because the easiest, the most effective way to escape stuttering is to escape speaking. Our brain understands that. So it wants to escape speaking, like to say fluently and run away. So we want to feel we're not running away. We're here, we're present. We are intentionally creating these speaking experiences, even though we don't have to. And if you're not using any techniques, any training speech, of course it might be tiring. You might be creating speaking experiences and you stutter, and it's not quite creating great feelings about it. You don't quite enjoy it. It's hard to feel present. I still have this automated reaction. So that's why it's great to combine creating speaking experiences with using the training speech, where you feel that speaking itself becomes the source of relaxation. Speaking can be effortless. It can be assertive, can be expressive. And when it comes to stuttering techniques, I'm preaching about the hand stuttering technique. That's the technique, or not quite a technique actually, it's just restoring the natural, the structure of our natural speaking. But that's the technique I used myself. I'm using myself still to this day as a person who stutters. That's what I teach my students. So again, if you want to go deeper into that, you're absolutely welcome. And of course, as you're using the training speech, as you are using the training speech, like I did now, using my hand on the thigh, it might feel slower, it might feel different, it might feel a little weird, even though, again, it's just restoring the structure of your natural speaking. It feels, I would say, wrong, maybe. Again, there is nothing wrong. When my students listen to the recordings of their own speaking, they say, wow, it's great, sounds awesome, but it feels different, it feels slower. And this kind of proves this, coming back to this neurological ground, that there's the perception of my speech is a little distorted in people who stutter. That's why it feels like I have the urge to speak a bit faster, even though that exact urge to feel more normal, to feel like to speak faster, leads to speaking not in normal, regular way, leads to mismatch. Lack of coordination leads to glitches, leads to stuttering. So it's a much bigger topic of acceptance and how we feel about using the training speech. Openly accepting the fact that I stutter, there's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm working on my speaking, I'm in the speech program for stuttering. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's the same as learning some new skill. We're learning, well, a skill of self-expression, if you would. Again, I have nothing against those people who choose the path of mere acceptance, who stutter and say it's okay, I'm proud of it. Actually, if you are effectively communicating, if you can truly enjoy the interaction, if you can feel you belong, you're still present, this is definitely freedom. Yet, of course, this is a choice because, well, let's accept that as well, that there is a bit of this mismatch still. Some part of you is not quite here. It's not quite full alignment with your body, with your brain, with your emotional system. So there is a choice to work on developing this alignment, to feel more in your body, to get more in your body. And the hand technique, what it does, it actually brings you to your body. Like, I think you're right. I think you're right. So each time you're getting to the vowel sound, each time you're getting to the stress syllable, you're actually feeling that alignment on a very physical level. So again, the major takeaway from this video for you is the perspective. Are you trying to escape stuttering better? Or are you truly trying to be more present, both physically and emotionally? Are you trying to hide stuttering, to keep it a secret? Or you're not afraid to open up? You feel truly open, active, and positive about this interaction. And not saying it's just like you change your perception and everything changes. I want you to acknowledge that this is a skill that, like in any skill, we can develop the same way developmental stuttering developed as an automated response. We can develop a new automated response to speaking, to interacting, social interactions, and even to stuttering, because that's the key difference between people who stutter and people who don't stutter, when there is no reaction, automated reaction from your body, from your emotional system. And of course, if you want to go deeper into how we can develop this automated reaction, head over to freefromstutter.com and join my free training. For more videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. For more interaction, join the Free From Stutter Facebook group, and I'll see you in the next video. All those glitches, everyone has those. There is no automated panic reaction produced.